I'm going to talk about how antidepressants affected me. So, trigger warning, because I'm going to talk about some things that are triggering, but I'm not going to say a lot of things because I don't want my video to get deleted or flagged as inappropriate or something like that. So yeah, if you get upset about self-harm and taking your life, then maybe don't listen to this and watch something that is relaxing and helpful and uplifting and not sad, because it's important to take care of your mental health. So I went on antidepressants at 17, and they changed me completely, and they made me hurt myself for the first time. I had never done that. I'd never really thought of that. I didn't even really know people did that. I had seen people with scrapes on their arms and stuff like that, but I didn't really put it together. So at 17, I was on medication, and I had this night where my parents were yelling at me and being mean to me, and so I was about to go get coffee with my mom and my grandma, but for some reason I went upstairs and I got a little pocket knife, and I cut my arm 2 times, but nothing happened, so I cut it 2 more times worse, because I didn't realize it takes a second, because I had never done that before. Well, I cut my arm very badly. I should have gone to the hospital, but I didn't tell anybody except for my ex-boyfriend, and he told his parents, and then I told everybody that I was okay, and I went to get coffee with my grandma, and I wore a sweatshirt over it, and I never even cleaned it. Just after it was okay, I just put my sweatshirt over it, maybe an hour after it happened. I was on the phone with my ex during it, and he was telling me to elevate my arm, and his parents were telling me to do something else. I don't remember. I thought it was okay since the bleeding was pretty much stopped, but it looked pretty bad. I went to get coffee with my grandma, and then I went back home, and then I took a shower or something. My parents never saw it until maybe a week or 2 later. I showed my mom, because she was just screaming at me and yelling at me, and I told her, this is what is happening when you are treating me this way. So she took me to the doctor, and they put me on a second medication to try to balance things out or something. And then I had to call the police on my dad one night, and I left my house and lived with my boyfriend's family for 2 weeks, and then I lived with my preacher's family for a little bit longer. But before I moved into the preacher's family's house, I tried to go off of my medication by myself, and I ended up in the hospital, and then my mom had them tell me how to go off of it, and so I went off of it. I got in a car accident 2 days before my 18th birthday, because I wasn't doing good, and I was in a withdrawal from going off. Going off of those didn't, it definitely made me feel weird and detached and stuff, and it was hard, but it wasn't as bad that time. But the next time I went on an antidepressant was when I was 20 or 21, I think, and I had to go off of those. I tried several, and they made me put myself in danger, and I would do strange things, really bizarre, antidepressants made me think that I was like a vampire or something. I never behaved like that unless I was on antidepressants. Like I literally, like made out with people and like they agreed to like both of us would like drink or like taste each other's blood. It was very strange, very odd that people agreed to that when I was the one on antidepressants. But like, I don't know, medications can make you do such odd things that you would not have done before. That's pretty much what I'm saying. And they're dangerous. Like, I never cut myself off of antidepressants. It was only on antidepressants. Well, actually, there was a couple times on lithium too, but I've never done it not on medications. Like, the medications I've been on have always made me do strange, bad stuff. Like trying to get out of the car while it's driving, getting out of the car and jumping out onto wherever, and waking up with an ambulance coming. Like I did jump out of the car when I moved here, because I was in slight lithium and benzo withdrawal because I didn't have my medication that I needed. So yeah, it made me do such dangerous things that I would not do otherwise. So going off of antidepressants in order to go on to lithium was really, really hard. I felt like there was like a giant, heavy blanket over me that I had to like walk around with it on me. And my skin and my whole body just felt like it was just like on edge, and like my skin was crawling. I felt like I was on another planet, and I had auditory hallucinations. Every time I would like go into a place that was echoey, like my bathroom or something, like I would hear this thing in my ear, and I would think someone was knocking, but it was more like a scratching sound. So I just thought, like, that's weird. And then a couple times I thought there was like an earthquake, but it was really just the auditory hallucinations. So yeah. After that, I did not try another antidepressant. I had been prescribed more later on, but I never took them again. Going off of them was really hard. So yeah, basically, I think they're dangerous and terrible. I haven't met anyone who has told me that they work well for them, but I know there's some people who have to take them and they work well for them. But they really scared me. I haven't been able to handle them ever. So, one thing I did notice though, when I was walking barefoot home in the frost from my friend's house, because that's another strange thing I would do, I noticed how sparkly the snow was, and I remember not noticing that before. So it must have pointed that out to me. Like I must have been doing bad or really depressed. And so when I went on antidepressants and I saw how sparkly the snow was at night, I noticed that. And so once I got put on more medication and stuff like that, and especially benzos, when I was like on sedatives, like I stopped noticing those kind of things. I stopped noticing nature. And so finally, once I went off and everything, like I've reconnected with nature, and I love looking at like sparkly snow and sparkly frosted grass, and like in the moonlight. Just anything like that. I love looking at sparkles on rocks, sparkles in the water, clouds and like stars and everything like that. So I think that was like a little tiny good part that came out of it. That was so long ago, so I don't know if it's just that it was a coincidence. But yeah, antidepressants are bad in my opinion, and they're really hard to go off of. So if you're going off of medication, just know that you're not alone, and it is going to feel better soon, even though it feels like it's not. Like, these chemicals are really strong, and they alter our brains. So when you go off of stuff, your brain has to rewire itself pretty much. So yeah, and I wouldn't tell anyone that they should go on antidepressants. I would say, like, don't, but I'm not a doctor, so just sharing my experience. I'm not on any medication now. I take, like, melatonin and hydroxyzine at night for sleep, and I smoke, and I take CBD, but I don't take medication.